Hi, I want to talk about Call of Duty, the first shooter game. I've been a huge fan of Call of Duty for a pretty long time. I've been playing Call of Duty since 2013, but I don't really play online. I usually play the campaigns. I had no idea there was a competitive Call of Duty gameplay online. I had no idea. I recently realized it was around last year. I realized on somebody else's channel that there was a tournament going on, and I was tuned in, and I was really surprised. I never knew there was something like that going on. I'm a huge Call of Duty fan. I play Call of Duty almost every day, but recently I only play the mobile version. I feel it's easier. It's easy access than putting a console on and playing on the TV. So I'm a huge Call of Duty fan. I've been following ever since I realized there's a competitive Call of Duty going on. And today I want to share my thoughts on everything Call of Duty, the competitive scene. The finals finished 2 weeks ago, and Atlanta Phase won it. Was the whole weekend, the whole event was really entertaining. It was exciting. We had some surprising results and some results which wasn't shocking. And Phase was actually the favorite going into the weekend, and they came out with the championship at the end of it. Phase is I don't know how the people at Phase will assemble such talent on their team. That is crazy. They seem to be miles ahead of all the other teams. It's like they are so much better. They're so much better in terms of skill, the game IQ, and what they are supposed to do at any point in time. It's like it's so much they're ahead of the competition. The other teams can fight and scratch all they want, but you can see that there's a huge disparity in talent. So it will be interesting to see what the future holds for the other teams and how other teams will try to dethrone them. When you look at their teams, it's like everybody is like a top-notch player. Everybody. And personally, to me, I think Celium is the best player in the world. It's like people don't really people don't really see it. I don't know whether it's because of his personality. He seems to be having an underwhelming personality. He's not really out there like that. It's like he's shy or something. He holds things inside, but he's really good. And I think if he's put into positions like different positions in the game, he's gonna really show what he's made of. The guy I think is a really top talent, but they don't really he doesn't really portray it like that. And the other players as well. What was this guy? Simp won the MVP. He's also exceptional. Abizi, another exceptional player. As it is, he complements them exceptionally, and he has his moments in the game. They are all like they are top notch, and I wonder how other teams allow them to assemble such group of talents, which just dominates. It's crazy. So as for phases, I don't know what else I could say about them. It's the talent is there to see, and people can see they're a really good team. And Celium is actually this someone I think is the best player in the squad, but people don't really see it. The usual suspects will be Simple or Busy, but Celium is really good, and I think he proved it the last time they had a one-on-one tournament. I think he won there was $100,000 tournament. He won a one-on-one tournament the previous year. He didn't participate this current one. The one the previous one he won the $100,000 tournament. So that was my take on Face. They're a really exceptional team, and it's going to be really hard to beat them. Really hard. Because even if you have the even if you have equal talent, they are gonna beat you in teamwork, in their chemistry. It's like four talented players who have chemistry. That's really hard to beat. Really hard to beat. And the team they lost to was Ultra. That's another team which is really good, but it has its down moment. It has a lot of down moments in their play. You could see that they have what they have in they have equal to face is teamwork. They have the teamwork, but they don't have the individual gun skill talent. The individual talents, you can see the huge disparity between them. The face guys are just superior in terms of gun skill. They're just superior. This is obvious. When you watch, you could see this side, this set of guys are just better than these guys. The ultra guys are really exceptional when it comes to teamwork. But when it comes to gun skill, you could tell the disparity. They're just better than them. The ultra guys are so good with their teamwork, they can sometimes get by when they're not really slaying out like that. Because some games they win when they get outslayed. They get outslayed and still win the game. That tells you their teamwork is exceptional. So that's what they have going for them. But in terms of gun skills, they're just no match for face. They're just not good enough to take down face. So those are my thoughts on Ultra. What team is next? Optic. I think they recently dropped Envoy. I think they dropped Envoy and Former, but Former retired as a result. Optic Gaming they have really good content. They are one team I watch most of their content because I find it's relatable to me. I really enjoy watching what they do on YouTube. I like their personality. It's really like I find it relatable and I'm attracted to it whenever it's uploaded on YouTube. But the Optic team in Call of Duty, when it comes to gun skill, they are on par with Atlanta Face. They have the gun skill and they have some teamwork. But what I think is their main downfall, they don't have any in-game leadership. They don't have anybody on the team who has a level head, who can calm everybody down and help them make right decisions at the right times. Anytime they are taken to deep waters, they fold up. They start making dumb mistakes and they just crumble. It's almost like everybody on the Optic team, they are the same they are the same people, 4 people with the same personality, same traits. They are the same. There's nobody who's actually like helping them do the right things, putting them in order. It kept happening over and over throughout the whole season, from Major 1 to Major 5 to the end of the the season. They kept doing the same thing over and over. People were expecting something else. I realized it from the third major. I realized no, this set of team they can't win. They can't win the ultimate. Something is really missing from the squad. And it's not about talent or gun skill. You could clearly see they are really talented. Everybody has their pop-off times. They pop off at different times. But when they are getting to the stage where you have to clutch up and win important games, they come up short. They can't seem to get over that. That screams of lack of leadership. They don't have a leader, in-game leader, someone who can really set them up for success like that. So that's what I feel was their main issue. And now that they've gotten rid of Envoy and Former, it's interesting to see what the future holds. Because from what I heard, I think there's rumors of a merger with Dallas Empire, and the team is looking to shape up to be Shotzi, Illy, Dashi, and Scum. That's going to be an interesting dynamic. On paper, it looks good, but it is time will tell whether it's going to work as a team. Because talent-wise, I guess you can't really how do you call it? You can't really dispute what they have in terms of talent. So time will tell with that. So which team do I talk about next? I think okay, let's go to the Dallas since they merged with them. That'll be a smooth transition. So next team is Dallas Empire. Dallas Empire is how do you call it? They started off the season the second best team in the league, and something happened and they dropped Hook and brought in I think it was Fellow. It didn't work, and they brought in Vivid. It seemed to have clicked when they got to the final with FaZe, and they took them to the, how do you call it? They took them to the, I think, map 9. They lost in 9 maps. That's when I figured I thought they had figured it out because they looked really solid then. They were really performing. Then all of a sudden, stage 5 came around and they lost to Optic. And it felt like the crowd was getting to them. They were not really performing like they should. I was surprised because I thought they had turned the corner and they were going to, like, how do you call it? Challenge FaZe. And it's like things didn't work out. So I was really surprised. Because from the way they were performing on the stage, I think it was stage 4, that they go to the final, they showed a huge leap in improvement. They were really doing, like, their fundamentals were solid and were just winning. You see, I thought things were really starting to come together, but all of a sudden things started falling apart. I don't know whether it's the crowd. I think their match against Optic in stage 5, the crowd was really getting to them. They were not really they were no, I don't know why, but it seems it was affecting their play, and they succumbed to Optic. And since then, I'm not. They showed a little bit of life in the championship final when they 3-0'd Rocker, but you could tell something was missing. Something was missing. Something was missing. But they have really solid players. Shotzi is top notch. His movements and all that. People really admire the way he plays. He's obviously a top notch player. He was MVP last season. And he's still putting in the work this season. Illy is a little bit, you can't really tell with that guy. One moment he's firing at Arsenal, the next moment he's unpredictable. Vivid was, people didn't really give him the credit he deserves. He was really doing well. He did really well. His gun skill was really on point. He was winning some gunfights that I didn't think he would win. He was winning a lot of gunfights you wouldn't expect him to win. Especially in the match against, was it Ultra? Some SND against Ultra. I was winning a lot of gunfights, which was really difficult. I found it really impressive. Creme 6 is really good. He's really good. I could tell, like, he has an excellent IQ for the game, and he's able to, like, assemble his team really well. I felt he has a really big impact on the squad, because the way they performed the Major 4 and took FaZe all the way, that was really impressive. And I think that has much to do with Krems's leadership. He's a really good player, and I wonder why, since he has been dropped from Dallas, and I wonder where he'll end up. But he's a really good player. Any team he goes to is going to be an important piece for the team. Which other team do I talk about? Time is going on. Let me just run through this real quick. Which other team? Mountaineers. Mountaineers is another really inconsistent team. They are very, very inconsistent. One moment they are world beaters, and the next time you can't recognize the team anymore. Very inconsistent. One player I admire the most in the Mountaineers squad is Skies. Sky is a really good player. Really, really good player. I admire the way he plays. He's really top notch. But I think because of the squad he is in, people really gloss about his talent. And you could tell from his KD. He ranks at the top of the highest KDs in the league. But his squad was just not consistent. One moment Neptune is popping off, doing what he has to do. Havoc sometimes also has some pop-off moments. The next time, these niggas are getting destroyed on the map. So Charlie, it was really frustrating to watch them, especially if you're a fan of the Mountaineer squad. It was really frustrating. They just cannot be consistent enough. And you could tell from the casters. Everybody could see it. When you look at the team, they seem to have the potential to be among the top sides, but they just don't have consistency. The consistency is not there. The consistency was just not there. So which other team? Rocker too seemed to have found some mojo, and they were just winning games like crazy. in the Major Five on their way to winning the Major Five. It was like out of left field. Nobody really was checking for them like that, and from nowhere they just came like just winning. They were just winning, and my take on Rocker is that I think the missing piece to Rocker is Priester. Priester, when I started watching, when the season started, I didn't think Priester was good enough because he seemed to always having below 1.0 KD. He was really getting like destroyed more often than not. But people were speaking highly of him. I didn't really know why. But as the season progressed, I realized no, Priester is a really good player, but he's so inconsistent. There were some moments I could tell that I really saw why they were really bigging him up like that. But the guy is very inconsistent. I think he's the first really good player who's that inconsistent. It's like an S tier player who's very, very inconsistent. It's crazy. Because usually S tier players they have some level of consistency in their game. They don't really go a long stretch having bad matches. But this guy is really, really good and he's very inconsistent. That's an odd combo for somebody who's that good. So that's the missing piece to Rocker. When that guy is on form, it's hard to beat that team. They become like a really top side. But the guy is just not he's just not consistent enough. He's so inconsistent. I don't know why. And he's really, really good. That's crazy to think about. He's really, really good, but very, very inconsistent. Very inconsistent. I think the championship weekend he dropped. I'm not sure whether he dropped the 1.0 KD. That's a missing. That's what is holding the Rocker team back. If Priester can just have some level of consistency, the whole dynamic of the team is going to change, and they're really going to be like a really how do you call it? A really top-notch team. But it's all relies on Priester. How that guy able to like put together some consistent performances. Because if not, they're just gonna be up and down like that. It's all like because the other side, the other pieces to the team seem to be doing their side of the way. But Priester is the missing link. So which other team? London Royal Ravens. They just those are the bottom teams. The London team, I just don't know what is going on with that team. Whoever is running that team, I wonder what their psyche and what their thoughts on Call of Duty is. Because they brought back this guy, Alex. They started the season with that guy. The guy was really, really bad, performing terribly. And they got Zed and Paul some Zeb and Zaptius. Zeb seemed to be a solid player. He's really doing what he has to do. And all of a sudden, they dropped Zed and brought back Alex. The guy was really terrible from the onset. They brought him back and he was still the same. Like, what was the motivation to bring somebody like that back? When he was not really doing much in his first go around. He was terrible. And for some reason, you brought a guy back and he's still the same. Why did they think the guy was gonna just turn to some S tier player all of a sudden or something? That was crazy. And to think that Zed was also doing he was solid. He has some level of consistency to his game and was not really that bad of a player. And Alex guy was nowhere near what the Alex guy was nowhere near what the player Zed was. And for some reason, they just dropped this guy and brought back Alex. And the team was just so bad. Every game, this Alex guy is probably dropping 0.5 KDs, 0.5, 0.6. I was like, damn. Like, what went into this change? Like, what was the mindset going in, bringing in a player like that? The guy is so bad. How many bad games do you need to have for people to realize you're just not good enough? It was crazy. I find out that really crazy. But Afro really turned up. When it came out, he put up some string of good performances, and I think that was good enough to keep his place on the team. Now they seem to have kicked all the other players off the squad. I think they dropped everybody else except Alex. Hey, no, except Afro. So it's be interesting to see how what the team shapes out to be because it's gonna be really hard. I don't know who they are going to bring in, but as for the other sides, they were just not good enough. Polex, Shawnee, Shawnee has some interesting moments, but he's not able to string together consistent performances. You see, he's just not good enough. So it'll be interesting to see who they snap up. Who is left? LAG, Gorillas. They're just not good enough. The team is just terrible. I think they dropped their best player in Vivid, and it showed when they went to the Empire. The team is so bad, and they dropped their best player. Apathy, he's a world champion. I think he won 2 rings. Silly. And another player I found on that team who is really useful is Assault. Assault is not bad. He's a really good player. I watched a number of their matches and he has some really standout performance. You see, he's the type of player who could thrive in a good situation. Assault is a good player. He still is. I think he's also a world champion. But Assault still is a good player. But just the players around him were not really helping him like that. But Apathy is terrible, man. The guy, people like him a lot because he probably put out performances in the past, but he's washed. They have to call a spade a spade. He's just not good enough currently. Your time is past and goes right now. There are new kids on the blog who are really putting in the work, and you could tell every time he hardly gets a 1.0 KD. He's most often 0.8, 0.9 KD. The guy is just not good enough. And Silly can say the same for him as well. So they dropped everybody. I wonder which team is going to snap up these kind of players because they are just not good enough. You might have your time, but it gets to a point you just can't do what you used to do anymore. You have to come to a realization. That's something that is hard for people to admit. You used to be good and now you're not good enough. They find it difficult to come to terms with that. But sometimes you need to call us as it is. It's just not good enough. I remember the All-Star weekend or something. They were playing. Was it a death match? The guy was destroyed. I think he had a point 0.4 KD or something. It was terrible. So that's that. I wonder which team I'm forgetting. Yeah, New York. New York's another really interesting team. It's a really interesting team. They have Hydra. Hydra is their star player. That's what a lot of people believe he is. He's put up a string of good performances. He pops off every time New York plays. And for some time, you would think they had figured it out and they were just winning matches. I think they were the only side to have beaten FaZe, had a better record against FaZe. But I think FaZe even it out when they tore them to shreds in the championship weekend. I think their record will be 2. They were 2-1. So as of now, I think it's 2-2. York's an interesting squad. They showed the potential to be great, but everything started falling apart. After that little bit of high time, now everything seems to be going downhill. I don't know how their team is going to be going forward, but I think if they want to be like a championship team, I think Mark and Asim are not going to take them there. They need somebody else. Mark and Asim are really good players, solid players, but I don't think they match up with the talents of the FaZe and Optic kind of. I don't think their talents match up with those kind of guys. That's what I think. I might be wrong, but from what I see, I don't think they are good enough. But Hydra and Clay Star are really, they are the backbone of the New York side. They are top notch. So it's going to be interesting to see because now there's a lot of good players on the market, and it's going to be interesting to see how things work out with them. LA Thieves, that's another thing. That's one team I really wanted to talk about. They've changed a lot. They are the ones CDL team that has changed the most. It seems every time they have some bad results, they change a player. And I don't know why there's not an option to change the coach. Because there was a time that the LA Thieves, the LA Thieves were really doing well. There was a point they had, let me see, they had Kenny, Venom, TJ, and Draza. Yeah, there was this spell they had that were beating the really top side. I think they took phase to map 5. They beat Optic. Things were really going well. They were winning a lot of matches. You could tell that the team was vibing and they had some level of chemistry. And Hook, Dallas dropped Hook, and Hook became available. And the coach, who did he drop first? Was it TJ? The coach dropped TJ and brought in Hook. He messed up the chemistry of the team just because in his mind he thinks a top-notch S-tier player is available, so he can only make the team better. But in my opinion, Call of Duty at that level of gameplay, people have comparable skill level. Even if somebody is better than somebody, it's not going to the disparity is not going to be that much. So there's equal skill level, but what is hard to get in a Call of Duty environment is chemistry. So when your team has chemistry, you let that team ride out, like you let it ride for as long as it can. You don't mess with team chemistry. And for some reason, this coach benched TJ and brought in Hook because he thought Hook was some S-tier player who was gonna like put them over the top. And things went downhill from there. They got 14 points clapped by Ultra. 14 points in in the game of Hardpoint. They got 14 points. So that was a fireable offense if I ever had one. That's a fireable offense. Because your team is doing well and you changed a winning side. A side is showing promise. And after the change, everything went downhill. Things messed everything up. Now you can't seem to get it right. You keep changing. When is it going to come to a point that you find the right chemistry? You had it. The thing was really there. They were showing good promise. Taking a team like FaZe to a map 5, beating a team like Optic. And you change the dynamic of the team because you think one player is gonna. That's a fireable offense. If I was an owner of Elite, I would have fired that coach for that decision. That was really bad. And now they can't seem to get anything right. You bench Slasher, bring Slasher back. Things are not working. You bring in John. And John, look, this guy, they said he was an MVP in some COD game mode. No, this guy is not the answer. I think I made a comment about that guy on Tactical Rab's channel. John is not the answer. Whatever the question is, John is not the answer. You can't make an excuse for somebody who's dropping 0.6 KD, 0.7 KD for a subsequent amount of matches in a championship weekend. It's not, I don't know what kind of, you have to see, there's a point you need to be real with yourself and let the person know, look, you are not cutting it. You are not good enough. This guy keeps dropping. Oh my goodness. It was terrible. The guy is just not good enough, man. Like, how, it's like you see something where you don't want to say because he's your friend, you're gonna hurt his feelings. You should be able to, like, at a certain level, you should get past that. Because it's a result-oriented, like, situation that you're in. You need results. You're not here to cuddle people's feelings and not make sure they don't feel bad. No, you're paying them for their service. So you should expect, like, a good output. That is what it's supposed to be. This guy is just not good enough. He used to be good. He's not good anymore. It happens. And it's going to happen to everybody. So this is probably his time. So you just have to admit it. For like 3, 4, 5, 6 subsequent maps, this guy dropped 0.6, 0.7 KD, 0.6, 0.5. And people are still defending this guy. Wow. It's crazy. That's crazy. That's really crazy. The video has gone on really long. It's almost 30 minutes. Let me just wrap this up real quick. So John is just not the answer. I don't know what I'm going to do with Hook. Hook has potential, but I don't know. Something seems to be going on with that guy almost every time, and you can't seem to get it right. So hopefully he goes to a different team and shows us what he can do, because he proved it in the previous, how do you call it, court game when he won it with the Dallas Empire. So I think he needs an opportunity to prove himself. But John is not the answer. That guy is not the answer. Whatever the question is, John is not the answer. That's all I know. Who else am I forgetting? Paris Legion. Look, okay, one player I could say he has potential in the Paris Legion is Aqua. When the season started, Aqua was really putting in the work. The guy is good, and to a little bit and to some extent, Scraps. Scraps also has the potential, but the rest, look, they're not good enough. Who else? Well, am I forgetting anybody? I think that is it. That's all. That's all. I run through all the teams. I'm not forgetting anybody. Yeah. So those are my thoughts on the core CDL team. If you're a fan of any of these teams, you're gonna have your feelings hurt by watching this. Don't be. People start arguing. You really can 1v1 them or something. Try to call out your gun skill or whatever. I'm not claiming to be a good player. That's what my talent. I'm not displaying my talents on a high level, displaying for everybody to see. I'm here in my in my little ghetto. Those are the people putting their talents on display, challenging each other. And they put themselves up to be scrutinized. And that's exactly what I'm doing. So don't get your feelings hurt when you hear this, when you stand for any of these people. So those are my thoughts on it. I'm a huge Call of Duty fan. And hopefully in the future, I can make more videos like this. If you like the video, like and subscribe. Hopefully I'll see you down the line. Thanks for listening. Bye.